going to continue talking about normal distribution. Here's the table. We've discussed in all the previous lessons that when we're using the table, then we know for sure that the table can only be used when the distribution is such that its mean is 0 and the standard deviation is 1. Standard deviation or variance, obviously if one is 1, then the other one is also going to be 1. So the variance or the standard deviation is 1. Only then can this table be used. Now, what happens if we have such a data where the mean is not 0 and the standard deviation is not 1, like in this case? So we have a x is normally distributed and the parameters given to us are 20, 16. Now, n means normal distribution, this means mu, and this means the variance. So, sigma square. Remember, a standard deviation is the square root of variance. Okay, so 16 is the variance and mean is 20. That means the table cannot be directly used here. Okay, so what we have to find for the given information, we have to find probability z is less than and equals to 26. Now, since mean is not 20, the mean is 20 and not 0. What we'll do is from the given value of 26, you'll subtract the mean and you'll divide the standard deviation. Mean is subtracted, standard deviation is divided. So this is the variance. So if the variance is 16, that would mean the standard deviation is going to be 4. Standard deviation is found by taking square root of the variance. Okay, so we divide it with 4. Now what we've done is that we've changed the mean to 0 and we've changed the standard deviation to 1 by subtracting with the current mean and dividing with the current standard deviation. Okay, so what do we get here? We get 1.5. So probability z is less than equals to 1.5. Now the mean has become 0, the standard deviation has become 1, and we're ready to read from the table. 1.5 is exactly here, so we're going to read 1.50, which is 0.9332. Okay. Part B is probability z is greater than 30. So still the same distribution where mean is 20 and variance is 16. So what we have to do, we subtract the mean, we divide the standard deviation, which is 4, and we get probability z is greater than 2.5. So this would be 1 minus probability z is less than 2.5. So where's 2.5? Right here, and the value, the probability for that is 0.9938. So we have to do 1 minus 0.9938, which gives 0.0062. Next is probability z is greater than and equals to 70. So that's going to be probability z is greater than equals to 17 minus 20 upon 4, which is minus 0.75. This is the same as 1 minus probability. Hold on, let me draw it to make more sense of it. So now this would be 0, since we've changed the mean to 0. Negative 0.75 would be somewhere over here.
मैम इसका जनरल फॉर्मूला क्या है वैसे?
General formula बताती हूँ. So this becomes probability you instead find this probability, which is probability z is less than equals to 0.75, because they both have the same area under the curve. That means the same probability. So that means the general formula is probability z is greater than negative a is the same as probability z is less than a. Less than a. This is the general formula. Okay. So 0.75 is what? Zero point 0.7 is here, 5 is here. Okay. So 0.7734. Next is probability z is less than, or x is less than 30. Okay. Achha, let me just quickly check. Did I write z in all these cases? I should have written x, because z is when mean is 0 and standard deviation is 13. Okay, this is x at the moment. So you can change it to z by subtracting the mean from it and dividing the standard deviation with it. So that now the mean is 0 and the standard deviation is 1. Okay, then you change it to z. I
मैम
think
वैसे इसको
earlier I was
माइनस 4 डिवाइड
careful
बाय 4
about
भी
that.
रखते हैं.
Sorry?
मैम वैसे रीजन क्या है इसको -20 और फिर डिवाइड बाय 4 करने का?
आप जब मीन से डिवाइड कर रहे हो ना, तो आप उसके मीन से सबट्रैक्ट कर रहे हो, तो आप उसके मीन को 0 कर रहे हो. जो भी उसका मीन है उसको जब आप 20 से माइनस कर रहे हो, तो आई मीन वैल्यू को जब 20 से माइनस, सारी समझो डेटा वैल्यूज को 20 माइनस कर देंगे, तो फिर उसका मीन 0 हो जाएगा. और जो उसका स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन है, अगर डेटा वैल्यू को उस स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन से डिवाइड कर देंगे तो वैल्यू स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन 1 हो जाता. ठीक है. फॉर
ठीक है मैम.
एग्जाम्पल, आपके पास अगर 5-6 डेटा वैल्यूज हैं, लेट्स से 1, 3, 5, 7, 2, इसका मीन जो भी आता है, अगर आप सारी वैल्यूज को उस मीन से सबट्रैक्ट कर दोगे ना और फिर मीन निकालोगे, तो वो 0 आएगा. ठीक है. तो हम मीन को 0 करने के लिए हमें जो एक डेटा वैल्यू गिवन है उससे हम डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन का मीन सबट्रैक्ट कर देते हैं, और जो गिवन स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन है उससे डिवाइड कर लेते हैं ताकि उसकी स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन 1 हो जाए. So that we can use the table. Okay, so this is probability z is less than negative 1.75. Negative 1.75 is here, 0 is here. We need this probability, which is the same as,
टेक्निकली आपने x को z में कन्वर्ट किया है.
हाँ, क्योंकि z तब होता है जब मीन 0 होता है और स्टैंडर्ड डेविएशन 1 होता है. Okay. So now what we'll do, we'll find this probability by doing 1 minus probability z is less than 1.75. So 1 minus, what is the value probability at 1.75? 1.7 is here and 5 is here. So 0.9591. So 1 minus 0.9591. Sorry, 5 पे करना था तो मैंने 4 पे कर दिया. 5 is this. It's going to be 0.0401. Another example. Which is, let me just copy the table again. Okay. So now there's a variable x, which is normally distributed, and the parameters given are 44 and 25. So we know that the parameters are, this is the mean and this is the variance, which is sigma square. So that means the standard deviation or the sigma is going to be square root of variance, which is 5. So now you're given probability x is less than s is equals to 0.9808, and you have to find s. So first thing we're going to do is subtract the mean, divide the standard deviation so that the mean becomes 0 and standard deviation becomes 1, and we can read the table. So probability z is less than s minus 44 upon 25. Now what I'm going to check is whether this is positive or whether this is negative. So this is equals to 0.9808. So probability z is less than this value is 0.980. So that means it must be somewhere over here, because this probability is close to 1. Shaded area is close to 1 here. So s minus 44 upon 25 is some positive value. Okay, so now we can just read it from the table. 0.9808 is here. So that value is 2.07. So s minus 44 upon 25 is 2.07, which is 54.35. Multiply 25 by 2.07, then add 44 to it. So you get 54.35. Oops, there's a mistake. I'm supposed to divide with the standard deviation, not the variance. So this should have been 5. This should have been 5. फिर सही answer आएगा. So 5 times 2.07 plus 44. That gives 54.35. Divide with the standard deviation. So 5. Okay. Next part is probability x is greater than t equals 0.7704. Okay, so probability z is greater than equals to t minus 44 upon 5 equals 0.7704. Now you have to check whether t minus 44 over 5 is a positive value or negative value. So here's the normal distribution curve, and it's greater than equals to a value, and it's 0.7704. So it has to be somewhere over here. So t minus 44 upon 5 is a negative value. So this is negative. Okay. So that means we have to change it into the positive side. We have to make it positive so that we can read the table. So instead, we're going to find this probability. So this is going to be negative of this. For example, this is, let's say, negative 0.1, then this would be 0.1. So change the signs. So it becomes 44 minus t upon 5 because it's negative of that value. Okay. So we have to find this probability. Probability z is less than 44 minus t upon 5 equals to 0.7704. Okay, where's 0.7704? Right here. So the value is 0.74. So this is 0.74. Find t from it. So 44 minus t upon 5 equals 0.7704. So t comes out to be, after cross multiplying and rearranging, we get 40.3. Next is probability x is less than equals to v equals to 0.3336. Okay. So probability z is less than equals to v minus 44 upon 5 equals 0.3336. So this value is positive or negative. It's less than. So we've shaded the left side. and it's 0.3336, so it's less than 0.5, so it's definitely towards the left. That means this value is negative. V minus 44 upon 5. Instead, what we'll do, we will reflect it towards this side, so we'll change its sign. So it's now going to be 44 minus V upon 5. And we're going to find this probability from 1 minus probability Z is less than equals to 44 minus V upon 5 equals 0.3336. So 1 minus probability, in fact, let me move that around. So probability Z is less than and equals to 44 minus V upon 5 equals 0.6664. That would be 44. Acha, 0.6664 we have to find from the table. We have 6664. So 6 and 4. Here it is. So that's 0.43. So this is equals to 0.43. Now you cross multiply, rearrange, and find V, which comes out to be 41.85. I'm going to give you a word problem, which is the height of a group of 16 years old girls are the heights of a group of 16-year-olds are normally distributed with mean 161.2 and standard deviation 4.7 centimeter. Find the probability that one of these girls will have a height height part A more than 165, part B less than 150, part C between 165 and 170. Okay, so first part is probability X is less than 165. This is normal distribution, but the mean is not 0. The variance, the standard deviation is not 1. So we do 165 minus the given mean divided by the given standard deviation, which gives Sorry, the first one is more than 165. So why did I make less than symbol? It should be more than. Okay, so probability. Now this becomes Z. Okay, it is 0.8085. Okay, so that's going to be towards the right of 0. Going to be 1 minus probability Z is less than 0.8085. Okay, so now let's read it from the table. I think I need to copy the table again. Okay, so 0.8085, we have to find the probability. 0.80 is here, and then 85. Acha, so this should be 3 decimal place. There's a problem here. This should be 3 dp because it should be 0.809, because this is the first value we read, this is the second value we read, and that's the third value we read. So it should be not more than 3 dp. So first we've rounded off to 3 decimal place, and now 0.8 is this, another 0 is right here, and you add 9 to it. 9, corresponding to 9 we have 25. So add 25 to the last 2 digits of the probability, 0.7881 plus 25. This is what we get, 0.7906. So then we do 1 minus 0.7906, which gives 0.2094. Part B. Less than 150. Probability X is less than 150. Probability Z is less than 150 minus mean 161.2 divided by standard deviation 4.7. So probability Z is less than a negative value, which is negative 2.3829. Again, this should be 3 decimal place. So change it into probability Z is less than minus 2.383. So less than a negative value is the same as 1 minus this probability. So this would be 1 minus probability Z is less than 2.38, which comes out to be 2.38. 2.3 is here and 8 is here. This value, 0.9913. Going to be, and then there's also, hold on, I needed 3 decimal places. So I did already have 3 decimal places. Sorry, my bad. This should have been 3 decimal places. So there's another 3. So now we add 3 to the probability. So adding 3 means adding 1. So this becomes 0.9914. And subtracting it by 1 gives 0.0086. Part C. Probability Z is, or X is between 165 and 170. Okay. So this is going to be subtract mean, divide with standard deviation. Okay, now the X changes into Z, so write Z in between. This gives us probability, we have 0.8085 less than C, less than 1.8723. Okay, so the general rule was you find the bigger probability, then you find the smaller probability, and you subtract the result. So probability Z is less than 1.8723 minus probability Z is less than 0.8085. Now this should be 3 significant figure or 3 decimal place, sorry. So Z is less than 1.872. 3 dp rule minus probability Z is less than 0.809. So read these values from the table, come out to be 1.872. One 1.87 is here. 2 is here. So for 2, we add 1 to it. So 0.9694. Minus probability Z is less than 0.809. So 0.809. 0.809. 9 was this 9. On this row, we get 25. So add 25 to the probability 0.7881. Six zero 9 and 7. So 0.796 0.06. Okay, so now you subtract the two values. Which gives 0.1788. All right, that's all for today. We'll continue tomorrow, inshallah. Allah Hafiz.